Colleagues, it's good to see everybody this Tuesday. Um, Morning here still, but maybe early morning if for others. Um, we're so glad you're a part of this project, and I am really, really thrilled with the work that Katie and her ETS colleagues have been doing to create a much easier process for submitting graduate enrollment and degree data. I'm always reminded that this has been a collaboration um, that has been almost 40 years ongoing. I don't remember the exact number of years. It's time that we update the format, and we're really pleased that you are working with us on it. So good to see everybody. And Katie, I'm going to turn it to you. I'm going to put myself on mute. I'm thinking, I don't know the best way. If you want to drop questions in chat, we could do that. But we'll also, I think, have some time.
Yeah, but we should have lots of time for questions at the end.
Okay.
But if I do something too quickly and you say, "Wait, I missed that," let me know and I'll stop and go back. So thank you, everyone. My name is Katie Pedley. I'm a director here in Global Higher Education at ETS. I'm the one when you, along with Keith, my colleague Keith Wharton, are the ones answering emails. If you send an email to the CGS enrollment survey ets.org email um, or at ets.org. And I know I've had a communication with a lot of you already. So um, let's go through the system. I'm not as proficient on Zoom as I am on Teams. So let me see if I can figure out how to, there we go. I think I'm sharing the right screen. Okay, so the demo I'm going to do today is actually in our stage environment, which is the environment where we test everything before we push it out into production. So that's just for the sake of not mucking anything up while I'm in here doing something that's not real. But this website you would go to is cgsenrollmentsurvey.ets.org. It just doesn't have that stage part in it. And all of that is in the manual. So let me just start by saying, if for some reason you did not receive the welcome letter and the manual, please send me an email and we will make sure that you get it. I believe it's also on the website, but just so you have one in your email you can always refer to, that might be more comfortable for some people. So this is the website you start at, or you can also start by going into the portal, and there's the website for that. But I'm going to click on, for all of you going in, you are an institution user, so you click on here. Okay, so now I've already entered this once, so my username and password are here. I'm just going to sign in. Okay, so let's poke around a little bit. This is your survey progress. Now, it's telling you right now nothing has been started. I've gone in and poked around, which is why it's not saying not started at all. I was testing some things out this morning, but this is the dashboard you will get. If you've assigned out data sheets to people, it will show you. It will show you the progress that is being made on the whole. But if you're uploading, it won't know how many data sheets are coming until you've uploaded them. So it may be a little bit misleading if you're uploading. But let's just take a quick look. If you look at the institution on the left nav here, you can see this institution is called Invalid Code Correction Stub. Um, this is our made up IPEDS code. We're not a CGS member, and we're in the pilot, which is this NSF study that you're all involved with. Then you can see down here who the users are that we have in the system. We have W and we have A, which is the access I'm using today. So we have two people in here. Now there's a way to add more people, and I'll show you that a little later. But this is who we have in here for now. Now, if I go to the data sheets, I'm going to start. I imagine a lot of you, just because given the size of the data that you're going to be putting in the pilot, a lot of you will probably try to upload. So I'm going to show upload first, but I will show you how the manual data entry goes as well. And if for some reason, I believe you can do both. So if somebody in your group, if there's different people working on different aspects of this for some reason, you could have one data sheet that's manually entered and then the others uploaded if it really came to it. So let's go to upload. So if you're going to upload only a total data sheet, then you would just hit this toggle. Now, for the purposes of the NSF survey, we would like, I believe the expectation, and Suzanne, maybe you want to confirm, the expectation is you are going to break it down to the program level. Um, so you would
Yes,
just leave
that's
this,
correct.
yeah. So you would just leave this, you don't have to touch it then. But if you were just uploading a total data sheet, you would toggle that over. I'm going to select a file. So this is my file. I'm going to open it and I'm going to upload it. And I put three, three sets of dummy data in there. Okay. So now this shows what's happened, right? So I've uploaded three programs: applied mathematics, exercise and kinesiology, and psychology. So let's start with exercise science and kinesiology. If I click on that, so they've all successfully uploaded. This is what the data looks like. If you want to toggle through and look at the different sections and see what it looks like in the form here, you can take a look at that. But if you feel comfortable that it looks okay, then you can just hit complete. All right, this is going to go through a series of validations. And now this up here says roll back. So this sheet is now complete. So if I go back to my survey data sheets, um, it's showing that it's completed. Okay. And if you needed to roll it back, you could either click here, or you could if you realized you made an error, you could also roll it back. You could also roll it back on the previous page. So now this one is complete. Let's go in and try applied math. All right, I'm going to hit complete. Okay, so that one's also done. Now I'm going to go to, so the other thing you notice is that the system is now starting to generate your total data sheet for your entire institution. So you no longer have to include the total across all institutions as a separate line in the upload, and you don't have to manually enter it. So the system will automatically generate it based on the data that you upload from the other data sheets. So I'm going to go to psychology now. Okay, so already I can see that there's an issue here. This box here is highlighted in red. Okay. And so if you hover over it, it says the value is not less than or equal to the value in row 2 and column 5. So that's this value over here. So it looks like this 12 is an error. I shouldn't have this particular program doesn't have a doctorate. So I'm going to go into my data file. Nope. There is the aberrant 12, and I'm just going to turn that to a 0 because there's nobody in that program. Okay, so now that I've done that, if I go back to the survey data sheets, I'm going to try uploading that file again now that I've made that correction. Okay, so it's saying it's taking more time than usual to process your file. There's a navigation on the left, nav saying My Uploads. I can also hit directly on My Uploads here. It says I had partial success, and if you click on this, it'll show you what the errors were. Oh, why is it not cooperating? So it's saying row one, data sheet is already complete. So it's not if you re-upload the same file that you used before with corrections, if you have data in there that are already complete, it won't overwrite them. It'll only overwrite the ones that are already that are not complete. Okay, so if you need to make a correction, you have to roll it back so that it's not complete yet to be able to correct it. All right, so but what it did do is it uploaded the one that was still open, the one that was in progress. So if I go to psychology, okay, now I'm not seeing that same error. Let's try and submit it or complete it. It's taking a little while. So it doesn't normally take this long. I'm not sure. This might be an issue with my Wi-Fi or something. Can you all still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Katie.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, I'm not a very good singer, so I'm not going to be able to really entertain you. So, just hang in there. If this doesn't correct itself quickly, I'll just log out and go back in.
While we wait, quick question.
Yeah,
Files have headers on it, ones that were uploaded.
no, the file should not have any header. So if you look at the one I'm uploading from, there's no headers. So yeah, what I would suggest is that when you're creating it, if you want to have headers on the file just to help you with diagnostics, figuring out where the errors are, and then just create a file to strip the header and to upload it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Are there other questions I can answer so far?
Maybe there's some questions in the chat. I'm not sure when you'd like to take those.
I guess we can, let me, here. If you wanna start, I can't see them, so can you let me, oh, wait, here we go. I think that did it. Okay, so we corrected the error, but so now I have all three data sheets for this example. Now the total is generating, and so once you have everything completed, the total will sum to the sum of all of the parts here, so it's concatenating the data. If you click on it, you can look at it here. It's not quite ready yet. But once it's ready, this submit button will come on. So Lisa, do you want to read me some of the questions while we wait for that to happen?
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
Will there be an option to complete or roll back all data sheets at once without having to click into each one individually?
Unfortunately, no. That's something that we're looking at for a future upgrade. But this year, no, you have to do it one at a time. The good news is you don't need to delete anything unless so if you roll it back, you don't have to delete it. You can just overwrite it. You'd only delete it if you weren't going to include it anymore for some reason. If you added something that wasn't a program that wasn't supposed to be included in the scope of the survey or something.
Do you like another question?
Yeah, that's might
Okay.
as well.
All right. Is it necessary to re-upload the file to make the correction, or can it be corrected directly on the screen?
Oh, this is such a good question, and I'm so glad someone asked that. I recommend so this is the foible of having a system that can do both manual and uploads. So let me roll one back. Because all that, so okay, so now this is finished. So now if I were to hit submit, it would submit the whole thing and that's done. And that is the last step. And a lot of people forget this step because they say, oh, everything's completed. Don't forget to submit. Otherwise, you'll get an email from either me or Keith a couple weeks after you're done that says, hey, are you still looking at it? Or and you just have to go back in and submit it. But let me roll this one back for a second. Okay, so now I can edit it. Here's why I recommend that if you're uploading, that you only upload. The system is set up so that if you are only going to put in totals, so if for some reason you don't have the breakout of men and women or something like that, or you don't know the full-time, part-time status, and you were just going to fill in this category, if you're doing any manual data entry, if you enter data here or here, it's going to automatically calculate this. But if you manually enter a number here, watch what happens. So let's say I change, oh, that should be an 8. Okay, so now it's knocked out these data. And it's not, and obviously this is an error as well, but let's say we did this. See, it got rid of your totals, or it got rid of your other totals. So you're going to end up with this sort of death spiral. So I would recommend making the correction in your data file. It's not really possible to do here. And I learned this the hard way trying to help somebody who was in the original pilot that this is what was going to happen. Because it would really be nice to be able to correct it in here, but because of the way we're trying to speed up data entry for people who are doing it entirely manually, that occurred. Are there other questions about that? Or other questions?
Oh, sorry, there we go. Which email or emails from CGS contains username and password?
Oh, that comes separately from the institutional portal. If you haven't gotten those, please send us an email at the CGS enrollment survey address, and we'll go in and send you your username and a password reset, and that should get it to you.
There's 2 more questions. Can we
Mhm.
use either 2, 4, or 6-digit CIP codes?
Yes. So if you look at the data file I had here, so I have one that's at the 6-digit, one that's at the 2-digit. So this, I think this is kinesiology, like exercise science. This one is psychology, just generally, and then this one is applied math and statistics or something like that. So you can see I have all 3 different levels in here. All we would ask is that if you include something, let's say you have 2703, do not double count if you end up putting in something at the 2-digit level or the 4-digit level as well.
There's one more question here. Is there a template out there for us to review with how to place the data in Excel?
So there's the stuff in the manual, but I don't have an Excel spreadsheet. So maybe we should talk about that. Typically, we only put out stuff in PDF, but I realize that's not very helpful. So maybe we can talk offline about that, you and I, Lisa. Okay.
And that was for now the last question in the chat.
Okay. All right. So let me just go back here. So if I go back to the data sheets, so now let's say that we wanted to do some assigning data sheets so that you can either assign them out so that somebody can do them manually. So if I start typing a zip code here, then you start to see them. So if you see, let's say, okay, I want plant sciences general. then I could assign that to this person. Okay, so the drop down will show you all of the users you have available. So you can assign them to yourself, or you can assign them to others as a lead Okay, so if we assign that to that person, we hit save. Okay, so now plan sizes general is in there. So now what happens is if I go in to start filling in the data, and let's say I have 23 and 21, oops, 21 and 2. Now this part is automatically calculated. And so now if I put it, let's say I put in 22 here. Oh, if I click on it, it says value is not greater than or equal to first time. So because this is total including first time, these numbers need to be bigger than this number needs to be bigger or equal to this number. Okay, so you'll get those errors as you go along. So let's say we have 45 and 47, 4. So then you can just keep going that way. Now, once I add in doctorate, then it's going to start filling out the bottom totals here. So you can see how this works. So if I just keep going here, I'm getting into some really big programs here. Okay, so then that part's filled out. Now, in this particular section, this number here has to equal this number here. All right, so if I don't know those numbers, then I'm going to put 28 here. I'm going to put 76 here. 509. Oh, see, yeah, see, I emptied it. Sorry. If I do this, then that number will automatically be generated. It's supposed to be. Something's funny going on there. Okay, and then you would just go on to the next section. All right. So that's how it works. For you guys, I think you're mostly looking to fill out the at this level. The one exception to that rule about making sure like having the dependencies within the data. And the other thing is that if you fill out, let's say that I fill out men and women for first time and I leave this number blank, it's not going to like that. If you fill out any data in this section, in the white section, you have to fill out all 3. So if you don't know, then you would have to put it as total. All right. Now in section 8, it's a little different. These are the new categories that I think weren't included in the survey before. So you have rural status, disability status, veteran status, first generation status. This is the only area where if you're not sure, if your institution doesn't collect these data, you can leave these blank rather than putting in a 0 when you don't necessarily have 0 students in that category. You just don't know. So if you don't know, just leave it blank, and it will be okay. Likewise, in sections 9 and 10, where you have all of these countries, you don't have to have data in every category. You only have to have, so you don't have to have zeros where you're not sure. You just have to have valid numbers where you know the correct values. Okay. Are there questions about that?
There are a couple questions in the
Mhm.
chat, if you
Okay,
want to take those, Katie.
sure.
Can
Yeah.
you upload all the programs in one file?
Yeah, so you can see in my data set, where did it go? You can see I have 3 programs in here, so you could have 100 in here if you wanted to.
The next question, if we revise the value in the data sheet, can we reload the data sheet? And then does the re-uploaded data sheet replace the original file? Or should we upload a different file with renaming the data sheet?
Oh, it does. So when I was making those corrections, I just made it in the same data sheet, and I actually left the data sheet open, and it let me upload right with the data sheet open. So if you're making the corrections right in the file, that's fine. So you don't have to rename the file each time. Did that answer the question? Okay, good.
There are no more questions in the chat right now. Oh, sorry, one just popped in.
Mhm.
Where do I find the specification? Want to create your data sample NSF worksheet?
Uh, sorry, can you say that again?
It says, where do I find the specification? Want to create your, it's called data sample NSF
Oh, to create
worksheet.
the file, the layout, all of the data about the layout is in the manual. So let me open up the manual. Just give me 1 second, I'll open it up. You don't need that. So if you go into the survey manual, there's appendices at the end. I think it's appendix either A or B. This also has all the survey definitions in here. But yeah, so here's what the record layout looks like. So your CSV file should only have numbers, blanks, and commas, right? Because it's comma separated value. But this is the label for each of the um, uh, columns. And then this is really, really long because there's so many variables in this survey. So I'll just whiz through it. And then this is what it looks like in the manual data sheet. So if you're looking at this is column 1, or a cell 1, cell 2, cell 3, cell 4, et cetera, et cetera. So this would align with the layout. So the only difference is that when you're doing manual entry, your institution code and your iPad's ID is already in the file. And you have to make sure that in your file, if you're uploading, in this file, this is my DI and this is my iPad's code. So make sure you include those. Okay. Were there I think I saw another question.
Yes, just like section number 8, can we leave section 9 and 10 blank?
You cannot leave it entirely blank, but if you, there we go. You would have to have, you could at least put in total international students, and it's very preferable if you have information about at least the countries. You can say about some of the countries, you can add them in. And then for other countries not listed, you would just put them all together in this sort of catch-all.
And another question here, from Eric, we noticed that master's programs in business are included as data to include in this project. But as the graduate school, our College of Business maintains their own admissions records separate from ours. To our knowledge, we have not included those business programs in past iterations of CGS data collection. Do we have to start now, or can we exclude them if those are handled separately for our institution?
Hi, Lisa. I'm coming off mute here for just a second
Excellent.
to clarify that actually my colleague just sent me a message through here that apparently I'm mistaken. So we, I guess, just have been including them in the
Okay.
past, so we can disregard that. Thank you.
There are no other questions in the chat right now.
Okay. Would you like me to go and show you how to add someone? If you needed to add a user? Anybody? The instructions are in the manual.
Yep.
But if,
We got a yes.
if, for example, you said, wait, I need a cast of thousands to do this, this is so much bigger, then what you would do is you would go to the portal. Okay, and I'm going to just go into my own. So under manage my users, you could search for existing users. Okay, so let's start by adding a user. Okay, so you add in an email address. So I'm just going to add myself. You would fill out this information about them. The red stars are required, obviously. The way we have this categorized is that some people are going to be dean and most people will be other unless they are actually admissions directors or registrars. You have to fill out at least line 1 of the address information here. So let me I'm just going to do this. United States, director, Rosedale Road. Okay, so then at the bottom, once you filled out that information about them, you say, do you want access to the Council of Graduate Schools? And I would select my institution. Okay, and if you want this person to be a lead administrator, you would click here. And if you want them to be they're either the dean or the data collection coordinator, you would click that. If you want them to be a secondary user cannot add other people, and a secondary user cannot submit the data. That has to be either the data coordinator or the dean, and it has to be a lead administrator. Okay, so you can select the status you want them to have. So let's say we're adding a respondent. You hit next. It lets you confirm everything. And then you submit the request. And what it does is that it then sends that to our queue, and at ETS we'll be checking those regularly and we'll approve them for you. Okay, so it's pretty easy. Are there any questions about that? Oh, this is a good question. Ashley, I was just about to email you. I should be getting an email shortly. We had a fix in. There was a small number of people who already had access to the institutional portal we're using to access TOEFL or GRE scores, which is a separate service. And for some reason, their security groups weren't updated. The request has gone in, and we're expecting that to be fixed very, very shortly. So I will send out an email once I have confirmation that it's done. Okay, was there anybody else have any questions about this? Okay, well, are there questions about other aspects of the survey? I know that we've got those new pieces to the survey. Or is there anything else you guys want to discuss? Oh, so to how to manually enter the data, I think we went over that, but basically you can I'll go back into it. This is the other way you can access the, oh, no, that's not what I want to do. When you get this managing the security profile, if you don't have to put in a phone number, just hit return to application. And access the portal. Okay, so if you go into data sheets, if you're going to manually enter a data sheet, you assign it. You can assign it, you enter the zip code that you want to use it for here. So if we put in 51 or 50 or something, 52, okay, we've got digital humanities. Let's pick this one. Okay, so we've added that sheet. And you can assign it to, I'm going to assign it to myself. Okay, so this is who they're assigned to. If I go in here, then you can just start manually entering the data. All right, and if you type in the white boxes, if you enter data in the white boxes, if you enter any data in this line, you have to add data, you have to put in, so for example, if you don't have anyone who falls in the non-binary or any other category like that, in the other category, you would have to put a 0 here. So if you have men and women, you have to enter a 0 or a valid number here, and then the total will be automatically calculated. The definitions for what is included in masters and other, what is included in masters other, this is referring to gender here. So men, women, and these are people who are non-binary or some other definition of someone who is neither man nor woman, depending on how your institution categorizes them. Did that cover the question?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, if you're looking for other definitions, they are in the manual.
And then there was a question, do you prefer uploaded data?
We can't tell. We can't tell. So whatever works for you. Whatever gives you the smallest headache is the one we want you to use. Okay, well, are there any other questions that are out there?
One just came through, Katie. It says, other is actually post-baccalaureate, etc., correct, in masters and other category.
Oh, here. Okay. Yeah. So we have a few places. Yeah. So there's a definition for this in the manual. There's also, this is other referring to gender in the columns here. So there's a definition for this as well in the survey manual. But masters and other is referring to things other than a doctorate but there's definitions about what they are.
Katie, I think this usually includes certificates, graduate
Right.
level certificates, and master's degrees.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if there's questions about the variables themselves and how they're defined, those are questions that should go to CGS. If it's something about the system itself, then it should come to us at ETS. Okay, last call for question.
Someone asked, where is the manual? And if they didn't receive it,
Oh, okay.
perhaps they didn't receive it.
Send me an email at CGS survey, enrollment survey, and I'll send it to you. Okay.
Katie, thank you so much for your time. I expect there will be other questions because there's a lot to
There's always
take
gonna be
in.
questions. Yeah.
But colleagues, you know where to find us, and you can be a resource, and Lisa and Katie is as well. So this is important work. It's good data, and we so appreciate everybody's contribution.
Yeah. If you get really stuck, if you have questions and you're going to have a lot of questions, you can also email and ask to set up a time we can walk through stuff with you. So if you get really stuck and you start to feel like you're hyperventilating, please don't do that. If we can help, we will help.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your Tuesday.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks so much.